man for my dad, and to get to make the first speech to you all to welcome you to this event. I'm sure you're all excited for your dessert, but you have to earn it and you have to listen to me. I'd like to thank you all for coming to celebrate with us and with the happy couple. Thank you to Craven Street Wealth for sponsoring the wedding. But I think we all need to give a thank you to you, Dad. Thank you for finally, after 10 years, proposing to Leslie and allowing us all to come together to celebrate this. It's a slightly unusual situation to be a best man when the groom is your dad and the bride is someone who's been a close member of your family for such a long time. I mean, like, what do I even say? Well, I thought I could tell embarrassing stories. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, I could talk about the time I watched my dad electrocute his mouth while fixing Christmas lights. I thought about the time I watched Leslie just a few months ago try and drink a cocktail through a spoon and 6 people copied her.
And you were one of them.
Yes. Or I could talk about how our stag do for this wedding almost didn't happen because no one realised our hotel reservation got cancelled. But I decided I wouldn't embarrass them and I wouldn't even mention any of those things. Why we're actually here is to celebrate the fact that after 10 years, we're all able to be part of such a beautiful ceremony on what has turned out to be a lovely day, and show up to support the love that these two have for each other. I first met Leslie when I was 11 years old. From the start, she was caring and attentive and has always paid attention to what was going on from starting secondary school to finishing my master's degree. I can say without a doubt that I am very lucky to have met not just you, but a whole new extended family. Adjusting to big changes in your family is not easy, but both of you were nothing but patient, and I think that's something you're going to continue to need. Especially Leslie. As a couple, you've shown that there's no obstacle too difficult when you work together, including raising 4 very different children and 1 quite pampered dog. Ultimately, we didn't need a wedding for us to come together and be a family, but come on. Isn't it nice that we've had one? So, I want to thank you all again for coming. Dad and Leslie, thank you for allowing us to be part of your special day. And can we all please raise a glass to both of you for showing us the importance of kindness, compassion, and love. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. And I would like to pass you over to the groom, who has about 10 minutes of waffle for you all. Cheers.
Now, I know what you're all thinking. This is quite a lot of cue cards. I promise I won't do a Boris and start talking about Peppa Pig World as I get muddled through this lot. But, firstly, Leslie and I would like to thank you all for coming today. We're really pleased that you could celebrate this special day with us. As some of you know, after Leslie and I hadn't been together that long, I took her for a surprise trip on New Year's Eve to the Shard. Now, that was the beautiful setting, there was fireworks, it was all kicking off. And I think a lot of people, but especially Chloe, who's laughing down the end, thought that that was the night I was going to propose. But Leslie reminds me often that I told her as we were going up the lift to the Shard, this would not be the night. As each year passed, I suspect many of you thought this day would never come. But even Leslie thought maybe I would never make an honest woman of her. Well, she had to wait another 10 years for a return visit to the Shard, and me to finally pop the question. At which point we made Chloe's day to tell her she would be our bridesmaid. And Amelia's, I'm sure, but Chloe was just so desperate to be our bridesmaid. Most of you know, probably, that I'm known as lastminute.com. Because I rarely plan anything, and I do everything at the last minute. And like this speech, for example, that Leslie's been nagging me about for ages, I finally typed it up on Wednesday, finished it on Thursday after a few glasses of wine. Typical lastminute.com. But the proposal was very different. I've been waiting 10 years for this moment, and I wanted it to be perfect. I knew Leslie wouldn't be expecting it after all these years, let's face it. So I found and bought the perfect ring. I booked the 7-course taster menu at the Shard. I was set months in advance, unheard of for me. I presented Leslie with tickets to Hamilton for her birthday in January 2024. Not because I thought she'd like the show, but that was the show on the night of the proposal plans. Anyway, I contacted the Shard, I told them my plans. And they were as excited as me. And they promised me the best best seat in the house for the pair of us. They asked me at which point I was planning on asking the question. And I told them after the 5th course, which was the main course. Leslie had no idea we were even going to the Shard that night, because that was also a big surprise. Hamilton was good. We made our way across London to the Shard. And when we arrived, I told her that I'd booked a special meal that night, not to propose, but because I'd effed up her Christmas present from 2023. I bought her Rod Gilbert tickets in that year, but hadn't realised the show wasn't until June 2025. So she's still waiting for her 2023 Christmas present, and all of this has happened along the way. Anyway, back to the proposal. So we arrived at the Shard. We were on time for once. I gave the receptionist my name, and she gave me a knowing smile and took us to a window seat overlooking Tower Bridge. Leslie still had no idea what was about to happen. The food was amazing. We finished the 5th course, and the waitress took our plates. I was ready. But Leslie, for some reason, just wouldn't stop talking. She was talking about the show, the food, every course by detail. Just waffle. And then, to my horror, at the corner of my eye, I saw the waitress heading our way with a big plate of sparkling, smoking stuff. I didn't have time to stop her or Leslie from talking, because she was still going. The waitress arrived, she put the plate on the table. There was truffles, congratulations. She turned to Leslie and said, "Oh, many congratulations." Leslie was very confused. I mouthed to the waitress, "You're too early." The waitress was mortified, by the way. She picked up the plate. She said, "Let's just pretend this didn't happen." She then started doing a Michael Jackson moonwalk backwards, as though she was in Rewind. As she went to get the dry ice and everything reset, Leslie finally caught up. I produced from my jacket pocket the ring, and I asked Leslie if she would do me the honour of becoming my wife. The waitress filmed the whole thing, and her colleague brought back the dry ice with the truffles. So we now have a video to look back and laugh at this event. Anyway, I should probably get on with the rest of the speech and the thank yous now, as this speech is in danger of becoming a Dave Bartholomew speech, which, as we know, it's a bit like the 90s advert Ariston, and on. So I'm still got quite a few cards to get through, so I'm going to kick on. We've got quite a lot of people to thank. This is where I start getting emotional, but I'm going to try not to. So first of all, we want to thank our parents. John and Val, Linda and David. You've always supported us through the good times and the not so good times, and always been there for us. Hopefully seeing us all here so happy will reassure you that it's all been worth it. And we appreciate everything that you've done for us, and we're so lucky to have you all. And we want to thank you. We want to give you a small gift. Do you want to do the gifts?
Yeah.
You can do the gifts, listen.
Stuart,
We've got to get out.
it's been a pleasure. They are really beautiful. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. You get all the good jobs, Leslie.
I did offer to swap, but she did not want to do this bit, apparently.
God, if we knew we were getting that, we used to go for a few years ago.
I continue. I've still got a lot to go. One of the best parts of getting married a little later in life is that we're able to share it with our 4 children. Having you all here at a wedding is a gift that just keeps giving. Life hasn't always been easy when we were first together, and we know that it's affected you in different ways. But seeing you all grow into the amazing people you are just makes us incredibly proud to be your parent and now officially step-parent. We can't wait to see what the future holds for you all, and we also have a gift for you each as a memory of this day. There's only 4 children.
Kiss Oscar. Yeah.
It's your show. We also wanted to thank our beautiful bridesmaids. Chloe, we got there in the end. And these gifts are from us as a thank you, as a reminder of the day. Both our sisters, Emma and Louise, are also amazing and have supported us in various ways over the years. But Leslie wanted to say an extra special thank you to Louise, who's helped her, been a massive help preparing for this day. So Leslie's got something for Louise. As you probably know, Leslie and I have worked together for 18 years, or over 18 years now, and have lived together for over 10. And we often get asked how we managed to live and work so closely together without killing each other. But to us, we couldn't imagine anything else. I wanted to buy a special gift for both of us. As a surprise for Leslie, that would serve as a reminder of today. And after thinking about it for a while, I decided that we both have similar tastes in art and that a beautiful picture hung in a prominent place in our house would be perfect. We both love a young and talented artist from the Isle of Wight by the name of Janet Page. Whoa! But Janet is here it's a bit of an in-gag because Janet is Leslie's aunt. But Janet's already been commissioned to do us a painting as a gift from her. And I wanted to find something special for Leslie and I to share. So this gift is from me to us, which you now need to open in front of everybody. It's not naked picture. No, it's not that. So basically, I needed to find something special. And I remembered that when Leslie and I were out walking Rosie, we came past the Abingdon art shop and we saw a painting in the window, and at the same time, we both looked at it and admired it. But that was months ago. But this memory helped in the process of finding the perfect gift. Sorry, this story is quite long as well, by the way. I went to the Abingdon art shop and I inquired about the painting, but it had sold several weeks ago. However, the chap in the art shop told me the artist's name was Kimberly Harris and that the painting was called Poppy Fields, and it was a signed, embellished, limited edition of 75 prints. So now I knew the artist and the name of the painting, I set about locating one of the other 74 copies of Poppy Fields. I googled it and I found one in Banbury, and I loved it, and I thought that Leslie would remember that day we walked past the art shop and we saw it. But it didn't really mean anything or connect to us. And then while scrolling through the internet of that website, this picture caught my eye. It's not Poppy Fields, but it's very similar. And it is still by the same artist, Kimberly Harris, and is a limited edition, blah, blah, blah. But this one was truly perfect, because this one is not called Poppy Fields, it's called Everlasting Love. And I knew this one was perfect, and I wanted it. But everywhere I looked, it was sold out. So I contacted Kimberly herself. I mean, she'd know where it was, right? She painted it. But no, she didn't know where it was. She's far too big for that. But she pointed me into the direction of her she pointed me in the direction of a publisher who was amazing. And she called every art gallery that were known to have stocked this painting. And she found one in Cirencester. The problem was, this all happened on Monday this week. My next bit says lastminute.com strikes again. I explained the situation to the lady in the Cirencester Art Gallery and said I wanted to present this painting, as a present to my new wife. She was very excited for us. I could have come down to the commission that she was going to earn from the sale. I'm not sure, but she was very excited. And then I told her the wedding was Saturday and I needed it by Friday. She said, "This Friday, you've left it a little late, haven't you?" I said, "Welcome to my world." But no drama. She was able to courier it to me in plenty of time. It arrives on Thursday. It's fine.
Where did it go to?
It went to work. It got delivered to work. It's fine.
I didn't see it there.
It was well hidden.
You never normally hide presents, Val. And it's big.
It is quite big. Anyway, like this painting, I hope our love for each other is everlasting. And I think that's about it for me. There was a lot of words, but I'm nearly at the end now. Leslie and I hope you have a great afternoon and evening celebrating with us. But before the sugar rush of dessert, I want to raise a glass to our long, happy life together, and let's all toast everlasting love. Yeah. Everlasting love. And that's it from me. I want to throw these out the way.